Hi everyone, I hope you're doing all fine. In today's session, we will use Visual Studio Code to get started a little bit with HTML. So I already opened Visual Studio Code. So how can we create an HTML document? We just have to create a normal file, give it a name, and the extension .html. So an HTML document is just a normal text document with HTML text as content. And how does a HTML document look? So how is the structure of an HTML document? So the first thing, or what? Zoom a little bit. The first thing you will see is a doc type, a document type. DOCTYPE declaration it is called DOCTYPE declaration, and it's the type of the document. So the type of this document, what does this mean? Means that it's for other applications like the browser, for example, how to read this document. So to tell the browser, hey browser, the following lines after this DOCTYPE declaration is HTML code. In this example, HTML5. So if you write doctype HTML, you can tell the browser this is an HTML document. Yeah. The second thing you will see in each HTML document is the HTML tag. Just to recap, what is an HTML tag? An HTML tag looks like this. There's an angle bracket, then the name of the HTML tag, an angle bracket. This is called the opening tag, and this tag is called the closing tag. So you open an HTML tag, you close an HTML tag, and in between you can also place content like text, HTML tag, and so on. And to get an overview about HTML tags, first in Visual Studio Code, it's really nice that if you place your mouse over the tag, if you hover the HTML tag, there's a small description. What's the purpose of the HTML tag? How do you use it often? And also the Mozilla developer reference, the Mozilla developer documentation. And this documentation you got, they call it HTML elements, but HTML tags and HTML elements, the same naming. There you got all HTML elements, or at least many of them. I think it would be all like the HTML convention. And also you can, you can get to more get to know more about HTML, about those HTML tags, like what's the purpose of the HTML tags. Like this is H1 to H6 represent 6 levels of section headings. H1 is the highest section, H6 is the lowest section, yeah, and so on. So a bunch of information. Also nice practice, like nice practices, what to do, what not to do, and so on. So it's a good resource to find more about more information about HTML tags. Good. And inside the HTML tag, we also got two main sections. The first one is the head section. Again, open and close head. In this section, really roughly explanation, there is content, or there are things the user does not see, but to append additional information for the browser, for example. One example, which also maybe every page has, is the title tag. The title tag, for example, the title tag a user can see normally. Think what's in the title tag. This is the text above the. This is the text in the. God, this is the text here at the top of the tab. So der Standard line Nachrichten. So that's the content of this title. Good. The second important section of the HTML document is the body HTML tag. And again, really rough explanation is in the body are HTML tags or text or whatever the content, what's rendered for the user. So what the content the user sees if he browses a website. Yeah, like everything inside this browser window or this content that's in the body tag. A rough explanation. Okay, so let's jump into some basic HTML tags we need in this course. Use the Mozilla Web Developer reference, of course, to get more information about other tags and so on. Our goal with using HTML is to structure the content for the user. And important things for structuring the content, of course, are headings. So, like we already read at the Mozilla developer reference, there are headings. Begins with H1, that's the main heading, the biggest title or the main title of the page. Then there's an H2, H3, H4, and they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So this H1 is the main title, H2 subtitle, H3 subtitle, and so on. So if you have Visual Studio Code, there are many extensions, and one of the extensions is HTML Previewer. I think it should be also installed on the lab computers you use. And on the button, there is on the bottom, there's a button with the text preview available. If you hit this button, you will get on the right side a preview how the HTML will look like in the browser. So we got our main heading, our main title H1, we got a subheading H2, got an H3 subheading. Yeah, of course, the goal is to use those headings to structure the content for the user and not for styling purposes, for example. So you don't use H3 just because you want to display a text a little bit bigger and bold. You don't misuse HTML tags for styling. Use them for structuring the content. Styling we will learn later on. You got, for example, CSS, cascading style sheet for styling your document. So HTML tags just for structuring the content. Yeah. Another important HTML tag would be, for example, the P tag. It's for paragraph, so a paragraph of text. Yeah, this is to place a paragraph of text inside. Yeah, of course, maybe it's important to mention it with the paragraph text. If you do a manual line break like that, the browser does not respect those breaks. Also, white spaces, browser doesn't care about that. Just get rid of them and represents the text just in a line. So to add manual line breaks, manual line breaks, there's also an tag. It's called BR for break. So you use break to add breaks. Of course, you can pen the text. So this BR just stands for break, and it represents a line break. This tag does look a little bit different. It's called, I think it's called a self-closing tag. So, and this tag, for example, got an opening tag and a closing tag with the slash in front of the tag name. And here we got just like we begin with, like with an opening tag, but then we add a line, a space, and a slash at the end. So this is called a self-closing tag. So this does not need something like that. So you can use it with one tag and a slash. Okay. Yeah. So we got PBR heading. Let's another important tag, of course, is the A tag. This is called anchor, and it's used for links, for hyperlinks. To place text or to create a link where the user can click on the link and get referenced, I'm sorry, struggle a little bit, redirected. Where the user gets redirected to either another web page on the internet or to another page on your own site, or gets redirected to a file, to PDF file, or some other things, some zip files to download them from the internet or to an image. So in this example, we will use this link to redirect the user to Google. And in this case, we got the HTML tag and we add something that's called an attribute. So you got the HTML tag, the opening tag, and if you append something in the opening tag, like href, I think it's called for hyperlink reference, href. There you can tell the browser, if someone clicks this link, please redirect, God, redirect them to Google.in, to Google, for example. So those things are called attributes. Again, in the Mozilla developer reference, you of course got also description for the anchor element and the attributes, and there should be an href somewhere, maybe href. The URL that the hyperlink points to. Links are not restricted to HTTP-based rules. They can use any URL scheme supported by the browser. Yeah. So if you want to know which attributes are available for a specific tag, just use the developer reference. Okay. So now if the user clicks to on this link, we will get redirected to Google. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah, of course, like we said before. For example, if we have a menu with an about page, then of course we can also use this link to redirect the user to another page on our own website. Like if we create an other HTML document in the same folder as the index HTML, we call it about.html, and let's just quick copy this. Now we got two HTML files. We got the index HTML and the about HTML. And here we can say, don't redirect the user to Google, but use a local file, a file in the same folder. Dot for this folder / list all files about that HTML. So again, I tried this last time with this preview extension. This doesn't work, so we have to use. You can also right-click on your file in Visual Studio Code and say reveal in File Explorer. Reveal in File Explorer, or Shift Alt and R. So Shift Alt and R. Shift Alt and R. Okay, maybe we have selected Shift Alt and R. Yeah. Now we have our index HTML. Can open it with Edge or Google, in this case Edge. And here we got our to Google, about us, and if we click about us, we're at the about page. So also here see that this, oops, sorry, index HTML, about HTML. So this also changed the path. So we really get redirected to another file. Yeah. Of course, you can also omit this dot slash. It's the same like this. Oops. To tell the browser or the application, this HTML document is in the same folder like this HTML document, index HTML. So about HTML is in the same folder as index HTML, and if you click on this link, redirect me to about that HTML. Okay, another nice tag is maybe the image tag. So you use image for images, and there you also got an attribute like href, a hyperlink reference. For the a tag, you get a source attribute. And here you also can specify again the target, which should be a link. It would be nice if it is, which should be an image. So the target of the source of an image to display for the user. For example, you can use local images again, like this about HTML file in the same folder. You can also use dot slash print all folders and files in the current directory. I created a directory assets. There I created a directory image, and there's a mango plant I tried to grow. Yeah, so this image is here in this subfolder, and you can reference it with the source attribute. And of course, like you see here, this image is very, very large, and we want to scale it down a little bit. So there are again other attributes like height, for example. There you can specify, hey browser, please scale the image down to 256 pixel. Good. Of course, there's also a width. You can also specify the width, but like you see, if you specify only one property, one attribute, the other attribute will be calculated to keep the proportion. And if you also can override it, of course, so you can do whatever you want, but maybe if you don't keep the proportion, it looks quite strange. Yeah. Of course, you can also display images on the internet. With the use of the address of the image. Wow. Whoa. They are really big. They're so small. So small in the beginning and then so huge. Oh God. Okay, nice. Uh, yeah. Let's check out if no. Let's take this image for example. Yeah. So let's take the address of the image, and here you can specify a source. You can also use the address we just copied, and there you have your nice, really good looking mangoes. Now I want now I want a mango. Sadly, no mangoes here. Okay, image break, hyperlinks, paragraphs, headings. What else do we need? Tables, of course. We need tables. Again, really easy. Use the table tag, and the table also got a structure like the HTML tag here with a head and a body. So you got not a head and a body, but a table head. So T head and a T body. And again, to structure elements in the table, you use rows and stuff content in the rows. So you say, here's a table, there's a head, there's the body, and the head got one row. And this row, for example, got two columns. Two columns. You use TA. In the head, you use TH. Table heading. Let's say we wanna do a ingredients list. So here are we got H3 ingredients. Got our ingredients, and here we got the name of the ingredient, and in the other column we got the amount of whatever we need for ingredients. Yeah, in the body, like here in the heading, we also use rows, and in the rows you can specify table data. It's called in the body. So in the head, table heading; in the body, table data. So what's the name of the first ingredient? It's cinnamon. And we need 3 sticks. Yeah. So and let's add another ingredient. Of course, we also need cardamom and four cardamom crushed. So yeah, so can you imagine a table? Like I said, there's the table. We got a head section, which got one row, and one part is name, the other part is amount. Then underneath we got the body. We got also one row. The first part is cinnamon, second part is 3 sticks. Then we got another row with cardamom and 4 for the amount 4 cardamom crushed. Yeah, so we got table, headings, images, breaks, a hyperlinks, p. Yeah, you also got, for example, 2 things I think are also good to know is that there are image tags like this image. You see here on the right side, I got, or let's start here. You got the h tags, h1, h2, h3, and on the right side you see I use h1, and it automatically breaks to the next, or adds a line break. If I use h2, it also automatically adds a line break. And here I use h3, it's a line break. I use p, it's a line break. I use a, and it doesn't add, or the browser does not add a line break. So there are elements, there are 2 types of elements. Those where the browser adds a line break are called block elements. So if you use a block, so a block element, the browser adds a line break, and there gets, or the whole block uses the whole line. So the block of text here uses the whole line, and then there's a break, and the other content continues underneath this block element. And those elements where no line break gets added, they're called inline elements. So to keep in mind, here, for example, you got 2 A's and there's no line break between. And I added this break because otherwise it would look like this. So just to keep in mind, there are block elements, there are inline elements. So inline is also called inline because you can use them inside a block element to place those elements in line. Yeah, so the inline elements and block elements. You don't have to learn which are blocks. Which you will, if you use HTML, you will get used. You will get to know which are block elements, which not, and how to handle them. So that's one thing I think it's maybe important and or good to know. And the other thing is, for example, if you got something like, let's say we got HTML, here, and we forgot to close or open an HTML tag, and or we just got an error in our HTML tag. And for example, let's use Edge here. Let's open document in, let's use Edge or Chrome. It's nearly the same. No, not many differences. So yeah, we got our paragraph of text, but we forgot, or we got an error in our HTML here, and it shouldn't look. It should. The paragraph of text should not look like this. It should not. There shouldn't be a line break. But it placed a line break because we got here and just enclosing tag in the middle of the text and forgot to get rid of it or whatever. Now we got here HTML and we want to inspect it. Why did the browser do this? Why on earth? So you can right click on the error you want to inspect and click inspect. Okay, it's a little bit. Let's try it. Let's try it also with Google Chrome. We've got a little bit of comparison. So here we also got our text with an HTML issue. Right click, inspect, or on the key. There's also on the keyboard. If you hit F12, you can also toggle the right thing here on. It's called the Chrome Developer Tools. And so right click inspect. And there in the Chrome Developer Tools, you got one tab. Can I zoom in here also? Yeah. Nice. Stop. Whoa. Okay. We got our elements tab here, for example, and there we can inspect each HTML which the browser rendered. So we specify the HTML here and give it to the browser, and the browser makes this HTML out of our HTML. So in the end, if there is some issues in the browser, or with the content, we can inspect the element the browser rendered. So let's take this. For example, let's take this paragraph, a lot of text. Let's with begin a lot of text, and it should continue. There shouldn't be a break. Before I thought here, I'm sorry. This is the right spot here. So there shouldn't be a break. And let's see what the browser did. So we got our opening tag, begin, lots of text, lots. Then they got the closing tag, like here, yeah. Then there is no tag anymore. There's just text. There's a break, yeah. So the browser also renders it without the slash. It's both is valid. You can use the slash or you can also skip the slash. Then we also got the break. Then we got more text. Then we got a second break. Then we got more text. And then there's just an empty p. Just an empty p. So the browser automatically added an opening tag to this closing tag here. So the browser tries to render the content for the user, whatever it takes. So yeah, and now you can see there's a p, opening p, closing p, and there is the other text. There's opening p, closing p, and you can see here's somewhere here's the issue. Okay, so we got an opening p and closing p. Opening p, oh, there's some closing p. Okay, let's get rid of that closing p. Now, okay, now it's working. Yeah, nice simulation of searching an issue. So the developer tools, the dev tools are really, really handy. I think you say really handy. I don't know. Okay, to find issues or problems, and also to inspect the HTML which the browser renders. So it also depends often on the browser. Uh, okay, not more the HTML which the browser renders, but more the we will get to know it or we will see it in the next assignment. The style really differs sometimes. Yeah. So we got our our HTML document, which consists of a document type declaration. We got our HTML tags, which often has got which often have opening tags and closing tags. There are also self-closing tags like the break. We got our head section where the content is. The user does not see rough explanation. There we got the body section where the content is the user sees. We got headings. H1 is the main title of the page, and then we can use more multiple H2s, multiple H3s to structure the content in a way, but keep in mind to use H1 and underneath H1 you use H2, not H1 and H4. You use H2, you use H3, you use underneath H3, you use H4. Don't mix them. Like we said, oh, let's continue. We got a P tag for paragraphs of text. We got a break tag, which is a self-closing tag. In this example, you can add an BR to say this self-closing tag. You also can skip you can add a slash. Say it's a self-closing tag. You also can skip the slash. I prefer to use the slash. The same thing is with the image tag. You can use the slash or skip the slash, but I prefer to use the slash. There's an anchor tag for creating hyperlinks. You can use addresses from the internet or also local files. There are image tags for displaying images. You can use local files or also addresses in the internet. There are tables, which are also structured like a HTML document, table head, table body. You display or use rows and columns to display the data in the cells. Yeah. One important thing is also, I think I didn't mention it. Don't use. I also said it at the beginning. Don't misuse HTML tags for styling. Use HTML tags for structuring the content only. Also, don't use tables, for example, for styling. Don't misuse tables for styling. They are for representing lists of data. Like here in this example, we got some ingredients with a name, with an amount, maybe with a picture or with some additional data. Another example, we got a list of employees with a first name, last name, employee number, birthday. So to represent a table of data, just this is the only purpose. Don't use, for example, to align images on the table or something like that. No, use cascading style sheet, CSS. Okay, so I think that was it. Thank you very much, and see you in the next session. Ciao.